When four friends on a late-night road trip in Nevada check into an empty desert motel with a missing owner and a guest book filled with names of dead people, they realize the motel hasn't welcomed a living guest in 48 years. Part 1. The Motel That Breathes. 1. The Road to Nowhere. The Nevada desert was an endless stretch of black void outside the car windows, lit only by the scratches of moonlight and the occasional rusted road sign that flickered past like ghosts. It was 1:47 a.m., the hour people said the desert became alive. Inside the SUV, four friends from Chicago were halfway through their USA cross-country road trip. Aiden, the calm, rational one, but secretly struggling with insomnia for months. Mia, curious, loud, obsessed with filming everything for her YouTube travel vlog. Lucas, skeptic, sarcastic, self-declared ghost-proof. Emily, quiet, sensitive, easily scared, yet strangely drawn to mystery. They had planned to stop at a motel 2 hours earlier, but a dust storm forced them off Highway 50, known in America as the loneliest road. The GPS froze, the phone signal died, the radio glitched like someone whispering through static. Then suddenly, a sign appeared up ahead. A sign that looked too old to still exist. The Last Motel. Vacancy, 0.6 miles. Mia laughed. Perfect! My vlog is saved! Lucas raised an eyebrow. Dude, this sign looks like it hasn't been repainted since the 70s. Emily frowned. I don't like it. Something feels off. Aiden, tired and needing rest, said, We don't have a choice. We'll stay for the night and leave at sunrise. They drove on. None of them noticed the second, smaller sign nailed underneath the main board. Check in before 2 a.m. Check out is not guaranteed. 2. The Last Motel. The building rose out of the sand like a forgotten relic. 2 stories, long corridors, flickering red neon sign buzzing faintly. Last Motel. The parking lot was empty, except for one 1960s pickup truck covered in dust. Looks abandoned, Lucas muttered. But the lights are on, Mia said, zooming her camera. This is perfect horror content. The lobby door creaked open on its own when they touched it. Inside, the air was cold, too cold for a desert night. A bell sat on the counter. Aiden tapped it. Ding! Nobody came. Emily whispered, Maybe we should leave. Mia rang the bell again, louder. Ding, ding, ding! Instantly, the lights flickered. Something moved behind the counter. Then a figure slowly rose up. A thin woman, pale as bone, with long gray hair covering half her face. She wore an old motel uniform and name tag. Marlene, manager. But her hands were blue. Checking in? She asked, in a voice too soft, too slow. Aiden forced a smile. Yes, 1 night, 2 rooms. Marlene stared at each of them, her eyes glassy like frozen water. Then she slid a guest book toward them. Names, she whispered. All guests must sign. The book looked older than the motel itself, its leather cracked, pages yellow. Mia giggled nervously. This place is aesthetic horror. One by one they signed. As Aiden finished signing his name, he noticed the names on the page above theirs. People who had checked in decades ago. 1975, 1983, 1991, all written in the same shaky handwriting. He felt a chill. These people from the 70s still staying here? Marlene smiled. No one ever leaves, she said. Aiden froze. What? She blinked and corrected herself. No one ever forgets. That's what I meant. But Aiden was sure that's not what she meant. 3. Room 23. They got 2 rooms, room 23 and room 24. The hallway smelled like old carpets soaked in dust. Lucas pushed open room 23's door. The moment it opened, a blast of cold air rushed out. Why is it freezing? Emily shivered. The thermostat was broken, stuck at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 degrees Celsius. Mia filmed. Oh my God, my mic is going crazy. This is unreal. The room decor was outdated. Yellow wallpaper peeling like dead skin, a rotary phone, a small TV with static, a painting of the desert that looked almost alive. Aiden sat on the bed. Suddenly, he stiffened. The mattress moved, as if something underneath shifted slightly. Emily gasped. Did you feel that? Aiden stood up abruptly. I must be hallucinating. I haven't slept properly in days. Lucas laughed. Bro, if this bed starts walking, I'm leaving. Mia set her camera on the table. Okay, everyone, say hi to my horror series, Sleeping in America's Creepiest Desert Motel. The TV suddenly changed from static to a black screen. Words appeared. 23. Stay still. Don't let them know you're awake. The 4 stared in silence. Lucas whispered, Is this a prank? Mia! But Mia shook her head violently. That's not my doing. Emily's breath trembled. Aiden, please, let's go. Aiden nodded. Let's talk to the manager. They returned to the lobby. Empty. Marlene? Aiden called out. No reply. Lucas leaned over the counter. She's gone. But Emily noticed something behind the desk. A door, slightly open. Inside was a narrow staircase descending underground. A faint humming sound came from below, like people whispering in unison. Mia whispered, I'm not going down there. But Emily pointed at something on the counter. The guest book. It was open again. Their names, freshly signed, were now written in red ink, although none of them used a red pen. Under their names, new words appeared, as if written by an invisible hand. Check in, 1:57 a.m. Check out, not possible. Lucas paled. Okay, that's not funny anymore. Aiden shut the book. We're leaving, now. They rushed outside. Except the desert road was gone. Where the road had been, there was now only endless sand in all directions, as if the motel existed in its own separate world. Emily whispered, We're trapped. 5. Voices in the walls. They hurried back to room 23 to regroup. The moment the door closed, they heard it. Whispers inside the walls. Thousands of voices speaking in overlapping murmurs. Emily covered her ears. Make it stop, please. Mia recorded. Oh my God, my mic is going crazy. This is unreal. Aiden touched the wall. It felt warm. Then suddenly, a hand pushed outward from inside the wall, pressing against the wallpaper, like someone trapped behind it. Lucas screamed, stumbling back. Nope, nope, nope.
The hand slid downward and vanished. Then a child's voice whispered, "Room 23 is breathing. Don't stay here." Emily cried out, "Who said that?" The rotary phone rang. "Don't answer it," Aiden warned. Mia, terrified yet curious, picked it up. A child's whisper, "You signed the book. Now it wants you." Mia dropped the phone in horror.
6. The desert painting. Lucas noticed the painting on the wall. It showed the desert, the motel, and a long black shadow stretching across the sand. Only now, the painting had changed. There were 4 tiny figures near the motel, standing exactly where they were standing. Lucas approached it slowly. The tiny painted figures began to move. "It's showing us," he whispered, trembling. "We're inside the painting." Aiden grabbed his shoulder. "Step away, don't touch it." But before Lucas could move, the shadows inside the painting extended like tentacles, reaching toward the 4 tiny figures. Emily screamed, "It's trying to pull us in!" Aiden grabbed the painting off the wall and smashed it on the floor. The whispering stopped. For a moment. Then the TV turned on again. A single message. "Leave room 23 before 3 a.m. or become part of the wall." Emily checked her phone. 2:41 a.m. 7. The room that should not exist. They ran into the hallway. The whole building seemed darker, colder, as if the motel itself was becoming aware of them. Mia pointed down the corridor. "There, a door with light under it." The door had no number. Aiden tried the knob. Unlocked. Inside was not a room. It was a long hallway filled with doors. Hundreds of them. Each door had a name carved into it. Aiden's, Mia's, Lucas's, Emily's. Emily whispered, "They prepared rooms for us." Lucas shouted, "Screw this! We're getting out!" But as they turned back, the entrance door vanished. Only more hallway, more doors, endless. Mia whispered, "We're inside a maze." The motel had changed shape, like it was alive. 8. Marlene returns. Footsteps echoed behind them, slow, dragging, wet. Marlene, the manager, appeared at the end of the hallway. Her face was melting. Her skin hung in strips. Her eyes were hollow pits. Her jaw moved wrong. Guests should stay in their assigned rooms. Emily covered her mouth in horror. Aiden stepped forward. "What is this place? Let us go." Marlene tilted her head. "You checked in. The motel accepts you. You cannot leave." Lucas shouted, "You're not even human." Her deformed smile widened. "I haven't been for 48 years. Then the lights went out. 9. The motel breathes. Aiden grabbed Emily, Lucas grabbed Mia, and they ran. Behind them, something huge crawled out of the darkness. Not Marlene. Something worse. Something that filled the entire hallway, scraping against the walls, whispering in thousands of voices. Aiden shouted, "Find the stairs! Find any exit!" Emily screamed, "There! The sign!" A glowing red exit sign flickered at the end.
They sprinted toward it. The walls pulsed like living muscle. Hands reached out of the ceiling. The floor rippled beneath their feet. The motel was breathing. The motel was hungry. They crashed through the exit door and froze. They were back at the lobby, standing in front of the guest book. Only now, the book was open to a new page. Their names. Next to each name. Status, checked in. Fate, to be claimed. Emily sobbed, "We're going to die here!" Aiden clenched his jaw. No, there has to be a way out. Lucas pointed at the desk. At a key. A single old rusted key marked basement. Mia whispered, "That staircase earlier." Aiden picked up the key. He looked at his friends and said, "Whatever this motel is, the truth is down there." They slowly approached the door behind the counter. A cold wind blew from the darkness below. The stairway seemed endless. They stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind them. The lights went out. A whisper echoed from below. "Welcome to the heart of the motel."
10. Descent into the basement. Aiden led the way down the narrow staircase, the rusted key clutched tight in his shaking hand. The air grew colder with each step, cold enough to burn their lungs. The walls were damp, as if the motel itself was sweating. Mia whispered, "My camera won't start. Something's draining the battery." Emily held Aiden's arm. "I hear voices." Lucas tried to act brave, but even his voice cracked. "It's just air, just pipes, right?" But the whispers grew louder, clearer, crying, screaming, begging. Dozens of voices, hundreds. Finally, they reached the bottom. A long, pitch-black hallway stretched before them. In the center stood a door with a metal sign. Employees only, 1975. Aiden swallowed. That's the year Marlene said she died. He inserted the key. Click. The door swung open on its own. 11. The room of lost guests. Inside was not a basement. It was a massive underground chamber. Hundreds of doors lined the walls, just like upstairs, but these doors were sealed shut with chains and padlocks. Above each door was a date. 2022. Mia gasped. These are the years when people checked in. Lucas pointed at a door with a fresh date. 2025. Emily's blood ran cold. That's this year. The chains on that door rattled violently. Aiden whispered, "Someone is inside." Suddenly, the padlock snapped open. The door burst wide, and a man stumbled out, coughing, covered in dust, clothes torn, eyes wild. "Help me! Don't let it take me back!" Emily shrieked. Mia dropped her broken camera. Aiden backed away. "Who are you?" The man fell to his knees. "I checked in yesterday. The motel won't let me go. The owner, she feeds it. She feeds it." Before he could finish, something yanked him backward with enormous force. He screamed as he was dragged across the floor, back into the room. The door slammed shut, chains relocked by themselves. Emily sobbed uncontrollably. Aiden clenched his fists. "We're next." 12. The old records. A table stood in the center of the chamber. On it lay dozens of dusty folders. One folder, labeled Marlene, 1975, caught Aiden's eye. He opened it. Inside were a photo of Marlene, smiling,
human. A newspaper clipping, a sheriff's report, guest names and dates. Mia read the newspaper title aloud. Local motel owner found dead in the basement, 1975. Emily stepped back. She's dead, but she's still here. Aidan read faster. Marlene found the motel in debt, alone, no guests. She tried to sell it, but no one would buy. Locals said the place was cursed, that people disappeared. Lucas added, "It says the night she died, she wrote something in her journal." Aidan pulled out the last page, shaking. The final journal entry read, "The motel wants souls. It speaks through the walls. It promises to keep me alive if I feed it. I am becoming part of it." Mia whispered, "So she gave herself to it." The ground trembled. The doors rattled. The chains shook violently, like something behind every door wanted to escape. 13. The motel shows its true form. A loud creaking filled the chamber. The walls began to expand and contract, like lungs. Emily realized it first. "The motel is alive!" Mia screamed, "The ceiling! Look!" The ceiling shifted, pulsing, veins glowing faint red beneath the surface. A booming voice echoed, "Guests, do not leave." Lucas stumbled backward. Nope, we are not dying in a building." The chamber floor split open. A deep pit emerged, glowing red, like fire beneath the earth. But instead of flames, the pit was filled with bodies, half absorbed into the flesh-like walls, eyes open, mouths whispering. Emily collapsed to her knees. "They're alive! They're still alive!" Aidan grabbed her. "We're not ending up like them! Move!" As they ran, Emily grabbed Aidan's hand tightly. "Aidan, why is the motel focusing on you?" Mia added, "Yeah, ever since we came here, it's like it's watching you." Lucas nodded. "It's whispering your name. I heard it." Aidan hesitated. He didn't want to admit the truth, but he had to. I have sleepwalking episodes. Lately they've been getting worse. Sometimes I wake up outside. Sometimes I hear voices calling me." Emily's eyes widened. "The motel preys on weak minds, broken sleep, nightmares. That's why it wants you first." The whispering grew louder. All their names echoed, but Aidan's voice was the loudest. "Aidan, come home." Aidan screamed in frustration. "I am not yours." The motel growled. 16. The motel fights back. Doors burst open all across the chamber. Ghost-like, half-formed figures spilled out, guests from every decade, their eyes hollow, their skin gray, their mouths whispering. They reached toward Aidan, Mia, Lucas, and Emily. Emily cried, "They're trapped souls! Don't hurt them!" Lucas yelled, "They'll kill us!" Aidan made a decision. "We end this, now!" He grabbed a metal pipe from the wall. The heart shrieked as he approached. Marlene screamed, "Stop! If you destroy it, the motel will collapse!" Aidan raised the pipe. Mia shouted, "Aidan, hit it!" 17. Destroying the heart. Aidan swung the pipe with all his strength. Crack! The heart burst, spewing black fluid. The entire room shook violently. Marlene screamed in agony as the veins ripped from her flesh. The souls wailed in pain and relief at the same time. Emily grabbed Aidan's arm. "Aidan, run!" The motel began to crumble. The corridors twisted. The floors split open. The ceiling caved in. Lucas pulled Mia. "Move! Go! Go!" They sprinted back through the basement hall. Behind them, the heart exploded.
The motel let out a final deafening roar. 18. Escape through the desert. They reached the staircase. Aiden pushed Emily upward. The building shook violently. The steps collapsed behind them as they climbed. Lucas grabbed Mia's hand and they burst into the lobby, just as the walls began to melt like black tar. Emily screamed, "The front door! Run!" They sprinted across the lobby. Black veins burst through the floor like snakes. Mia tripped, but Lucas pulled her up. The front door vanished again. Aiden roared, "You will not stop us!" He slammed his hand against the wall. The wall cracked. Light shone through. Emily kicked it. Mia punched it. Lucas rammed it with his shoulder. The crack expanded, and suddenly the wall shattered outward. Cool night air hit their faces. They stumbled into the desert sand. Behind them, the entire motel collapsed in on itself like a dying creature, sinking into the earth with a monstrous scream. Then, silence. Only the desert wind. Only darkness. 19. The Long Walk. For a while, none of them spoke. They walked through the desert, exhausted, bleeding, terrified. Hours passed. Finally, Emily pointed at distant headlights. A road. Aiden, look. A car. A pickup truck slowed as it approached. A kind-looking older man rolled down the window. "You folks all right? What are you doing out here?" Aiden caught his breath. "We stayed at a motel, the Last Motel." The man frowned deeply. "There hasn't been a motel out here in decades. Burned down in 1975. Emily froze. "But we were just inside it," whispered back. "Then what did we destroy?" The man motioned. "Get in. You need help." They climbed into the truck silently. As it drove away, Aiden looked back. The desert was empty, flat, nothing. But then, a single flicker of red neon glowed faintly in the distance. Last Motel. Vacancy. Aiden blinked. The sign disappeared. 20. Final reveal. The book that follows. Hours later, they reached a small town. The sheriff questioned them. Aiden told everything. The sheriff looked at him strangely. Then he stood up and brought something from the lost and found shelf. A heavy leather book. Old, cracked, familiar. He placed it in front of Aiden. "This was recovered from the desert 2 nights ago. Don't know who it belongs to. Folks say it shows up every few years." Aiden's heart stopped. It was the guest book. He opened it slowly. The newest names on the last page were Aiden Carter, Mia Torres, Lucas Reed, Emily Hart. Status: checked out. But underneath was a new line forming, slowly being written in red right before their eyes. But not for long. The book slammed shut by itself. The lights flickered. Emily screamed. Mia grabbed Aiden's arm. Lucas backed away. Aiden whispered, trembling, "It's not over. The motel is coming back."